When guys start pointing out just how non-existent misogyny actually is, what do gals do? They have to jump to a different time in history or a different place in the planet or a different institution. In this case, they pick on Islam. You see, we're okay here, but Islam is so bad. I'm going to prove to you that is bullshit, that men's worship of women is universal, worldwide, culture-wide, history-wide. Now, I asked, Dubai, is Dubai a Muslim city? And it says, yes, it is. It's a major city in the United Arab Emirates, where Islam is the official state religion. And guess what they do in Dubai? It said Dubai doesn't allow single men to go to the park while women are there. It enforces specific restrictions in certain public spaces where single men are prohibited from entering areas designated for families or women. Or they're just saying women. That's all families mean, by the way, guys. So the patriarchy never existed. This is a matriarchy. If a patriarchy existed, it would be reversed. The men would be there and the women wouldn't be allowed in. So the Muslim religion is misandric. It's not misogynistic. And that's all the way across in the Middle East. Now, here's a typical Muslim man, and of course, he's going to be a typical female worshiper. We're going to expose this guy. What's your name? Classical Islam. He's classical Islam, dude. Notice he doesn't call himself modern Islam, right? Or revamped Islam. He's classical.
Leads. Sometimes even push them away from Islam and lead them to kufr.
I actually wanted to leave Islam about a year ago. After I went through what I went through with the Dawa Bros in 2024, it shook my faith really, really deeply, because for the first time in my life, I literally had to ask myself, like, what the hell is this religion that hates women so much?
When she says that, what she means is there were limitations put on her, right? Limitations are for male congregants. Women are supposed to be free in any religion to do whatever they want. That's what she's saying, guys.
What is this? Like, everything. I just saw, like, for the first time, I truly, truly saw just how nasty this community is, how deeply, deeply misogynistic it is, how oppressive their ideologies are. I just saw it so.
Yeah, she had limitations placed on her. She wanted to behave whatever she wanted, and someone criticized her. That's her big spiel, right?
Clearly for the first time, and it genuinely shook my faith. But it shook my faith in Islam, and it never shook my faith in God. I've never doubted Allah.
There you go. She shook her face in Islam, but not in Allah, even though Islam is all about worshiping Allah. See the contradictions you have to deal with all the time?
Because,
of course, Allah, he's the top dog. Women love a male god who's going to give them everything.
I have just been through way too much in my life with Allah to doubt him. I've been through way too much in my life. I know my.
Well, doesn't Islam represent what Allah wants?
Allah. I know my Allah. But it did shake my faith in Islam as a religion, because
notice again, guys, over and over again, no details. All right, this is bad, but how? What happened? Nothing. Right. She will never say exactly what's going on, because then you can't just take her word for it. You can judge for yourself. This is standard modus operandi for the opposite sex.
I knew my Allah, and I know my Allah is kind and merciful and loving, and
he would let you do anything you want, no matter how bad it might be.
This religion, this cannot be from him. Allah is not oppressive. Allah is not unjust. Allah is not misogynistic. This cannot be from him.
The story of this sister and the condition that she is in now really upset me. Now,
What condition is she in? Again, this guy gives no details either, guys. This this classical Islamist doesn't give any details either, does he? Let's continue.
when she says, I was about to leave Islam because of the ordeal I went through with the Dawa brothers 1 year ago, what exactly is she speaking about? This term Dawa bros, it's commonly used by these
Oh, he's getting into details now. We'll be able to judge.
sisters online, and it's used to refer to brothers like Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawa, and many others, but these are the most prominent ones. The sisters believe these guys are misogynists. They're always attacking women. They're always telling women what they can and can't do. They're trying to basically control women. So
There you go, guys. Like Islam, they don't control women. Exactly the opposite of what everyone claims Islam's about. This classical Islamist says it's the opposite. So control, in other words, put any kind of limitations or say, this kind of behavior is inappropriate. According to this guy, women are supposed to be beyond all that. This is why I tell you, all religions are just worship of the female.
what happened to this sister was one of these Dawa bros, and his name is Zaid, and I made a video about this at the time. But the state of this sister, when this popped up on my feed, when I saw the condition that she's in, what she's become, what she's saying, really shocked me so much. It really upset me that I had to go back to this topic. Because what has happened here is really shocking. And it's basically being covered up and it hasn't been dealt with.
Really? I haven't watched the whole video, but I watched enough. There's nothing shocking about this, guys. The guy came on to her. That's the big shock.
So one of these brothers, Zaid, and this brother is very popular on Instagram, he popped into her DMs. And what did he pop into her DMs for? What was the topic? Well, he was discussing marriage. What kind of marriage? Secret marriage to single mothers with daughters. Why?
Wow, okay, so he's hitting on her, right? He does what a typical guy does. This is his great evil, guys. A man hit on a woman, right?
Was he looking for something like that? Why was that the topic? Well, according to him, and at that time all the voice recordings were released, he hadn't found his trophy virgin wife yet, one that will be acceptable to his family, to his parents, and to his wife.
Wow, a guy can't find a virgin anymore. How long have we heard that? Not that I actually respect virginity. A woman who remains a virgin for a long time doesn't like sex and will not want to touch you. That's beside the point, though. These Islamist guys, they're delusional. They think women will ever, in the modern times where they have real freedom to do whatever they want, whenever they want, put any kind of limitations on themselves? Come on.
A family. So in the meantime, to satisfy himself, right, he's heard, and this is, without playing the message, this was all in the messages. He put it in a way where, look, I've heard that, single mothers, they're not as demanding. They're willing to accept a lot less in terms of mahar, in terms of a home, okay?
Yeah, you see that, guys? This is quite the patriarchy. The guy has to lower his standards. Isn't that what they always say to guys who complain about getting together with women? They said, lower your standards. Well, he is. He's lowering his standards. He's going for a single mother, right? And actually, it's kind of wise in the way that a single mother has proven that she likes sex enough to at least get knocked up once, right? And also, he's thinking maybe she's desperate, wants to have her child looked after. See, he's lowering his standards, and he's the one who's sacrificing, not her. He is.
Cars, the lifestyle, so on and so forth. Why? Because they're in a weaker, more vulnerable position. They've already been married, they've already got a child, and they've already got their life set up, okay? They don't want that life disturbed so much. They already have their own income, they have their own home, and that they're more willing to accept that a brother, instead of it being a
if they got their lives already set up, how could they be in a vulnerable position? Classical Islamist. He's saying, hey, this woman's got her life set up already. Then she's not vulnerable, is she?
marriage where he's around all the time, taking care of the children. They're willing to accept somebody popping by a few times a week for a few hours just to satisfy their desires. Now, why did he specifically DM this sister? Well, this sister, and this was a mistake on her part, unfortunately for her, she had an Instagram account, she had social media. And
Really? So this Islamic woman who's, she's so limited by Islam that she can have her own Instagram account. Right. And she can also run around and be a single mom. That's allowed too. So how is Islam misogynistic or controls women?
basically, she was making videos and detailing her life as a single mother with a child. So he saw this as the perfect opportunity to DM her and discuss these topics with her. When the sister received these DMs, she was absolutely shocked because this guy is just an alien to her. He's a non-mahram. She doesn't know him.
She's shocked, right? Like a strange man coming on to you. Dude, how do you get your rocks off, right? Eventually a guy has to approach a woman he doesn't know.
Her
Obviously, these Islamic communities are just like every other community, right? The women ditch their men, so the guys go wherever they think they can score.
of him, she's never had any contact with him whatsoever. She just opened up her DMs, and there's this strange male.
This is really terrible. A strange man came onto her. By the way, again, what's your name? What's your name? Classical Islam. Classical Islam. Men would love that. We would love to have strange, attractive women coming onto us on a regular basis. So all you're admitting here is that women don't like men, which I say over and over again. Has to be hammered into your heads.
In her DMs, speaking to her all of these topics about, looking for a secret marriage, waiting for a virgin wife, in the meantime, looking for a single mother with a child. So this sister she was so shocked, she went and exposed him on her social media.
Okay, she wasn't shocked. She saw a man she probably said, this guy's beneath me, and now I'm going to harm him. I'm going to dox him or at least slander him on social media. Right.
And again, this brother is very, very popular, especially on Instagram. So this kicked up a massive controversy. In response to the sister's actions of exposing his private messages to her, the brother put up his own video on social media trying to display.
Wow, she exposed his private messages. All she had to do was say no, you woman worshiper. There's no reason for her to do any of this. He can't force his way into her home or her life. There's absolutely no reason other than hostility and sadism for her to do this. All she had to do is say, I'm not interested, and moved on with her life.
The rumors and the narratives that was being spread about him.
Secondly, I never ever suggested a temporary marriage. This is
Hey, all you Chad, worshippers, this is a very good-looking young man. And he actually built up some status on Instagram. Still wasn't good enough.
completely haram. And I mentioned in my voice notes very clearly to the sister, and I quote, not with the intention of divorce, because this is mut'a marriage, and this is completely haram. Furthermore, I never said that I would abandon the wife once I found the other wife. Laws of Allah.
This is strictly haram. In other words, harems existed in the past. When women had to get their leeching of men directly from men, they were willing to engage in harems. They're willing to be a side pigs. Now they get what they want from men indirectly. Now they can show their true colors and say, we never liked any of you guys, right?
This was insinuating that I was only using her for short-term benefit.
And of course, harems were all right in the past again. That's Islam. So when she joined Islam or was born into it, whichever, she knew this was going on. So what's her issue now?
is another misconception and a slander, and the text below clearly says that this is not what I said, as you guys can see on the screen. Now, on top of that, regarding this marriage setup, I never ever mentioned that I would not look after the woman and her child financially. This is a
Really? Why would you? This woman's already looking after herself. You don't owe this woman. Dude, you're just admitting that your relationship with this woman would be prostitution. She was willing to spread her legs for you, and then you would pay her. Hey, all you Westerners, how is Islam any different from Christianity or any other major religion? Or just basic secularism? How's it any different?
another misconception, a slander that has been spread. You guys can see here on the screen my message regarding that. However, I will admit that my wording was not completely clear and might have made the sister think or interpret my wording to suggest a temporary marriage. However, I don't really understand this.
It doesn't matter, dude. She's going to misinterpret it on purpose because she doesn't like you. And you gave her an opportunity to find a man to harm. She's found a man to harm. That's what's going on here. She's not angry or shocked. She says, oh, ha, 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 ha. There was a guy stupid enough to hit on me. Now I can destroy him, destroy his reputation via my true God, the internet.
Because I did clearly state in the voice notes and subsequent further texts, as shown, as you guys can see, that it would not be with the intention of divorce, and I clarified that I would even keep her when I found someone else. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
There you go. Even if he's so desperate that even if he found another woman, he wouldn't abandon her. Now, whether that would actually happen or not is another thing. But still, the fact that he even says that, this guy owes this woman nothing. Men owe women nothing. If a guy comes onto a woman and she spreads her legs, he owes her nothing.
I'm really glad the brother cleared that up, that he wasn't after something temporary, even though...
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with a man looking for something temporary? Well, marriage, were you saying he get married to her and then divorce her, right?
He was looking now for a single mother with a child to bide him over until he found his real wife, his main wife. At least, the sister...
If she let him, he would have stayed with her forever, guys, and adopted that girl as his own and said, there, I've got my family. All guys do this. This idea of being a principled man and having standards and wanting to go, get something real that's honest, it's bullshit. Men take what they can get, and they take it happily.
And have the knowledge that he's still going to keep her around. This makes the world of difference. Looking at this situation objectively, right, imagine this case now. You have this situation where this well-known famous brother, a da'i...
Even if he suggested such a thing, dude, you shouldn't be angry because she doesn't have to accept it. All she'd have to do is say no. There's absolutely no issue here. There's no story here.
An online Dawa personality, he DMs this non-mahram woman that he doesn't know, speaking to her about marriages and secret marriages. And
well, what do you think Tinder's about? What do you think dating apps are about? You're contacting people you don't know.
Single moms that have less demands, and a man just visiting them a few hours a week, all right, until he finds his main wife. And then a sister on the receiving end of this, she exposes him on social media.
She's not on the receiving end. A man hit on her, and all she had to do was say no.
Where do you think most of the anger should have been directed to? Should it have been directed, the anger and shock should have been directed towards the sister, or should it have been directed more towards the brother? If you guessed the sister, well, you guessed right. And this is very...
Of course, for good reason. Because this man didn't do anything to harm this woman. He simply propositioned her, which is what you need to do if you want to have a wife. Are you married? Classical Islamist. If you are, you had to hit on your wife. You had to proposition her, right? So what makes you different from this young man? And what does this woman do in return? She tried to destroy this man on social media, which so many women do, which was completely unnecessary, that was done completely out of sadism. She is the villainess in this story. Now, for you to act surprised is telling me that you were siding with someone who would harm another person for no other reason than they feel like it. This makes you a bad person. This is why guys call guys like you simps and have such contempt with that word.
Very unfortunate, but this is exactly what played out. The anger, the shock, the vitriol was all directed at this sister.
Good, because she deserved it. There was absolutely no reason, no good reason for her to do something like this to that man. He did nothing to her. He just hit up on her, right? Are you against men trying their luck with women? Are you against this? Then how did you get married? How did you get your woman? Right? This is so typically male.
The sister that was just minding her own business, and this brother decides to drop into her DMs.
So what? Minding your own business. That's what hitting on someone is. Look, guys go to bars. They don't know all the women there. And they hit on them. They find an attractive woman. What you're saying is meaningless.
I mean, the comments and the hate that she received, not just in her comments, but the amount of reactions putting the blame squarely upon her.
Yeah, well, she was to blame. He didn't make her try and slander him.
Painting her as the bad guy and painting the brother as just some, hapless, innocent brother.
He is hapless and innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. See, everyone, this is Islam. Right? The misogynistic Islam, everybody. It's so misogynist that men aren't allowed to hit on women. And you know what? They're not allowed to even be in their presence. They say, all you single men, all you guys who haven't been validated by the goddess, what Islam actually worships, you guys aren't allowed in the public spaces where they're at. That's the misogyny of Islam. Now, I haven't watched all of this, and I don't want to make this overly long, because I think I've proven my point with this guy right here. This guy proves my point 100%. Men are the same worldwide, culture-wide, history-wide. This mentality is the mentality men have always had. Men worship women. So all religions are the worship of women. This guy doesn't believe, worship Allah. He worships some woman he's never met before. And if she wants to act out or harm other men for the fun of it, that he's totally on her side. That's what she should do. The goddess can do no wrong. And remember, guys, he's classical Islam. He's not modern Islam. He's not the new Islam. All men think the same. Anyway, we'll end it here.